Hello and welcome to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard. Thank you so much for joining us again. I'm going to have a conversation with Dr. Cindy Milligan, representing a brand new company that's focused on women's health. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Dr. Sandy Milligan.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm glad that you decided to come and talk about your brand new company. Give us a bit of your professional background first, if you would, and then talk about your role there at Organon and Organon's role overall.
Absolutely. So I've been in the pharma industry for almost 20 years, and my educational and experience background includes I'm a medical doctor as well as a lawyer, and I've worked in several major pharmaceutical companies through the years. And most recently, I was at Merck as head of regulatory affairs and global safety over there. Recently, I've joined, or I guess it's been over a year now, I've joined Organon as part of the spin-out from Merck, and I head up research and development. It is a fantastic opportunity for me to really contribute to the company in a different way, bringing the experience that I have and the background from my education and training full force to help out the organization to fulfill its mission to improve women's lives every single day. And for those who may not know, research and development is more than just the research arm of a pharmaceutical organization. It's not only responsible for developing new treatments through preclinical and clinical development, it also is responsible for registering and negotiating with health authorities around the world to make sure that you can get the marketing authorization that you need in the different countries around the world to ensure that there is a supply chain and access for patients. My group also spends time around the world educating physicians about the products that are on the market, as well as hearing feedback from the healthcare providers about the utility and outcomes of our products. And we continuously monitor and evaluate the product safety. So we have a whole host of safety physicians in-house, and we're constantly looking for safety signals, and that helps us think about and modify the communications that we make with the healthcare providers and patients themselves. So it's end to end, really, Neil. It starts in the beginning of searching, evaluating, and bringing assets in, continues on through the clinical development stages, through the marketing registration, and making sure that there's access on the markets globally. And then that continuous monitoring piece is really important so we can make sure that we're always adequately identifying and modifying the risk benefit of any products that we do have on the market.
You know, we've been hearing about gaps and disparities in healthcare in many different groups throughout the years, but especially now during this time of the pandemic, even though it seems to be winding down a bit, hopefully, even more disparities in healthcare are being revealed. What do you think are the biggest gaps that exist right now in women's health?
I think there's actually 4 pillars that we have to take a look at when we look at gaps in women's health. I think that there has been an underinvestment in innovation across the board supporting women, whether it is women-specific diseases such as endometriosis, women's well-being, such as the different phases of life that they go through, such as menopause, and also in the availability of scientifically driven data that can be used by healthcare providers and patients to better understand the changes in their bodies or the diseases that they're facing and have that conversation around what the treatment choices might be. I also think that with the underinvestment in innovation in women's health, there is a lack of choices. And the choices are really key. That really drives the conversation between healthcare providers and patients. And then finally, of course, access. Which of the treatments are reimbursed? How are they reimbursed? How are they provided and made available to women across the globe?
And how would you say your company, Organon, is working to fill those gaps?
So my approach for research and development at Organon is really to put women in the center of the pipeline. And because we're intending not just to be a drug company, but we are also looking at diagnostics, we're looking at devices, we have the ability, when we put the woman at the center of the pipeline, to take a look at, is there a diagnostic that will help with earlier diagnosis of a particular disease? Is there a device that would be instrumental in either improving her well-being or an outcome? And is there a therapeutic that we can bring to market? So we're looking at this modality agnostic environment that we can really pick and choose what are the best therapies to bring to board to address some of these huge gaps in healthcare. And I think that's actually going to serve us quite well by investing and thinking solely about women's health and putting women in the center of our pipeline.
Can we talk a bit about the wall of voices?
Absolutely. In order to understand what it's like to be a woman and whether it's different, there could be cultural, society differences around the world. We want to hear from women, and we've set up a website. It's just like it sounds, hereforherhealth.com, or listeners can go to organon.com, where we are establishing and setting up an ability for callers to call in and tell us about their healthcare needs. When I have women at the center and I'm listening to the women and what their concerns are and what their well-being status is, there could be undermet and unmet medical needs, but that will help us focus and prioritize where we need to invest in innovation.
Well, Dr. Milligan, I appreciate you joining us here on Health Professional Radio, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you again to learn more about Here for Her Health.
Thank you, Neil. It's been a great pleasure to be with you today.
And once again, that website is www.hereforherhealth.com. Thank you again, Doctor.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Health Professional Radio. I'm your host, Neil Howard, in conversation with Dr. Sandy Milligan. Audio copies of this program are available at hpr.fm and healthprofessionalradio.com.au. You can also subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, listen in, download at SoundCloud, and be sure and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/healthprofessionalradio.